Hey everybody, welcome to Gong Labs Live, episode 11, where every week we're bringing you tips, tricks, and insights to help you as a sales pro be as effective as possible. I'm your host, Devin Reed. Now, as you can hear, I'm a little sick today, but don't worry, we still have a great episode lined up for you, not with one, but a handful of interviewees. More to come on that soon. Now, you know the drill. Jump over to Gong.io's LinkedIn page and click follow. You'll get a notification every week when we go live at 10 a.m. on Thursdays, Pacific time, and you also get direct access to our sweet content. And thank you to our return viewers, the Gong Tribe. We appreciate you. Go ahead and tag your best friend in sales so they have access to the show as well. Now, today's topic. One of the most common questions that successful salespeople ask themselves is, how can I get better? Maybe you're thinking of how you can improve at your current role, or maybe you're thinking about hitting the next level of your sales career. Well, that's what we're going to focus on today with a handful of interviews. And what we've got is a sales rep from every tier of the sales org lined up to tell you about their secret sauce and what it takes to be successful from BDR all the way to enterprise. Check it out. All right, guys, on this segment, we have some all-star commercial sales reps, Alex Lynn and Jamie Sutton, and they're going to give us some insights on how they use discovery to level up their conversation. Thanks for joining, guys.
Than's for having us.
Thanks, Devin.
I'm excited to have you here.
Excited
First
to be here.
question is for Alex, and you'll answer the same one, Jamie. When you're hosting a discovery call, what is your end goal? Or in other words, how do you know that it's completed?
Yeah, good question, Devin. I think my hope out of every call is to show enough value that I earn the respect for next steps.
Got it. Okay, so you have to uncover some business pain, and you're always driving towards the next step. Probably a demo?
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's next steps, but I think it's also understanding that mutual fit. Mm-hmm. If we can understand that there's enough pain and that we can help, then we've earned our next steps and earned the opportunity to show them how we're going to get them to their goals.
Got it. There's the value that a sales rep has, right? It's in your playbook. It's what your team tells you to go to market with. And then there's the value that the prospect sees. What are some of maybe questions that you ask specifically or tactics that you use to make sure that, hey, that you're picking up what I'm putting down, right? What I'm saying is important to you. So I guess, how do you make that leap from your messaging to value in their eyes?
I always resort to a question that our CRO, Ryan Longfield, said, and I pull it up whenever I can, and is what we're talking about today from a point of opportunity or pain? And going out right and saying it is okay, and then checking in to say, hey, how does this feel?
Yeah.
I think that is a way to just very honestly check in.
All right. So for opportunity, that's something that they can gain, and it sounds like the question of pain is something that they might lose or something that's a problem now. Is that correct?
Yeah, or is this something that we need to fix, or is there something that we think we can achieve?
Got it.
So maybe not necessarily a problem, but maybe something that they can succeed with or get to their goals with.
Like an added benefit.
Yep, exactly.
And in your preference, do you have one that you prefer to hear?
I think it really just depends. I think Luciano always says it's funner to sell real medicine instead of vitamins. But I do think that a sales leader that understands just how beneficial creating an opportunity is just as good.
Nice. What about you, Alex?
I blacked out. What was the question?
That's okay. I'll start you off with the next question.
All right, cool.
Okay, so this is something you helped me with offline. Is in a world of shiny products, how do you stick with value and not resort to feature dumping?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think what's really important as a sales professional is to be able to really understand and gain the perspective from a business standpoint. So the business initiatives, what they care about on ensuring that their business is successful, right? And then from there, be able to derive value through the product and not selling features like feature dumping, like you said, but selling value from a business perspective.
Got it. So relying on their business objectives. Now, again, it goes back to what you have to offer versus what they need, right? Jamie, what about you? How do you resort or stick to value and not resort to feature dumping?
I think that you hit the nail on the head, making sure that you're aligned with their business objectives, but even more importantly, I care about myself. People are naturally selfish. So how can I make sure that my offering is helping my prospects not only achieve their business goals, but achieve their career goals using our offering?
little Sandler methodology, how to help you, not just the business.
Exactly.
I like it. All right. Last question before the hot takes. This is really important. So a lot of times we talk about discovery, how we can, you need a good discovery to build a good deal. Let's say you're speaking to someone who's mid-level. You had a great discovery, conversation. What do you do, or how can you level up that conversation to get to the DM?
Mm-hmm.
I think a good question to ask is like, hey, what does your boss care about? And see where that goes.
Yeah.
I think another question I would ask is, as I set the agenda, if this seems interesting, would you be open to inviting your boss or the decision maker onto the call so that we can actually go through a demo and run a little bit of discovery with them? So
an upfront contract, right?
Exactly.
If I do X, you'll do Y, we both benefit.
Yep.
Jamie?
Yep. I think it's, you will be delegated to the speaker that you level to, right? And I think making the assumption can be very, assumptive. You don't know exactly until you ask. So just asking, hey, who does this conversation affect?
Right.
And who needs to get involved in this conversation? Also, when, kind of like you said, when you sit around with your boss and your executives, what are they talking about?
Right.
And getting that information, then say, okay, great, how can I communicate to them how we're going to affect that goal? And also empowering your champion. I mean, they are coming to you with a solution, and they get to go back to their boss with a solution.
Yeah.
So being their biggest advocate and offering to arm them with conversations and join in on conversations with them.
I like both those answers because a lot of times sales leaders say, I need sales reps that'll ask for the business, and you guys just asked a couple of direct questions, right? Who needs to be involved? What does your boss care about? Because ultimately you're setting them up to be a champion, so they look good and they take you upstairs, right? Another question I like to use is who would feel left out if they weren't a part of the next call?
Ooh, that's good.
Because then they're starting to think of, Jamie, she's always a part of these conversations. Let me go grab her. Or my boss, that person's always involved. So something else to take away as well.
I like that.
Well, thank you for the insights. We're gonna have a little bit more fun. And jump over to our hot takes. So first one's for Alex. I know you watch The Office. So if you were a character of The Office, who would you be and why?
Oh man. I'm blacking out now. What's his name?
Yeah, we've got Dwight, Stanley. You'd be Dwight?
Yeah.
Hitting sales numbers, bringing swords to work. I like it. All right, assistant to the regional manager, he's gunning for the position. Jamie, I know you're not an Office fan, and that's okay. That's okay. So I'll ask you instead, what's the most inspiring moment of your sales career so far?
Ooh, inspiring. Honestly, maybe this is just because it's top of mind, but last month I'm a newer account executive, and I guess just getting that first sale across the line that I found myself and showing myself, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Even more so, it was the second sale to say that that wasn't a one-off. This is actually something that I can do and do it again. And then I quickly was uninspired, and I was just like, okay, I need to go do it again. So
yeah.
But that's sales.
I remember talking to you the day before both those deals came in. That was exciting. I don't think you slept much, you said.
Nope, that's what coffee's for, though.
But they both came in. I think you had quota that month, too, if I remember correctly. So awesome. Okay, here's a fun one for both of you. Alex, you'll start first. Maybe you're getting ready for the gym, but more excitedly, you're getting ready for a big CEO presentation. You're making your pitch. What's your go-to pump-up song?
Ooh, man. I want to keep my adrenaline low, so I don't want to get too hyped up.
Interesting.
So I resort to a little bit of Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson, wow, that's my Sunday morning routine. So I'm on the same vibe, different times though. Any Jack Johnson specific song?
Like Banana Pancake, Better Together.
Dude, that's my
classic
every Sunday morning. Yeah. I don't actually cook pancakes, but I like to listen to the song.
That's fair.
Jamie, go-to song, pump up.
Beyonce.
Of course.
Obviously. I have my walk-up song whenever a sale goes through.
Which
to
is?
Be flawless. I woke up like this. So to hear that song before the call, hoping that I'll hear the song later on in the week, and then it would be that. But yeah, I actually agree with you, and I think moving forward, I'm not going to listen to that much pump-up music because it does get you a little hyped up, and then the prospect is like, whoa,
chill out.
What's going on here? But yeah, I like that too.
Perfect. All right, last question. We'll get you guys out of here. Alex, what's the best compliment a prospect or client has ever given you?
I think that the best compliment is if they try to recruit you.
There you go. Common answer I'm hearing. Yeah, it's a job offer.
A
right?
job offer, exactly.
Now, when do you hear that most often? Is it like after the first call, after the close? Is there a time where you get that offer more than others?
I think I do get it on my second call, but I think it's really refreshing and fulfilling when I do get it on the last call, right after you sign the deal, getting feedback and getting that CSM call. But yeah,
awesome.
I would agree. I think the job offer. I also think when the prospect is coming to you during other evaluations of software, where they see you as an expert in your field and ask for your advice on stuff, it just means that they trust your opinion. So I always appreciate that.
That's great. Well, there you have it. A couple all-star commercial sales reps here at Gong, helping you have better discovery and level up your conversations. All right, I have with me Mikey Cattermole, who is our growth AE, the first and until recently the only, and he's going to cover how you leverage relationships and data to help expand on accounts. Mikey, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here.
All right, the first question is, how do you go about transitioning accounts from the AE to yourself? Because I know a lot of times clients hate when you're going from multiple points of contact, from a BDR to an AE. I imagine that can be challenging sometimes. So how do you go about that?
Yeah. So I think first to take a step back, like growth AE, what my job is quite simply to get customers to pay us more money.
Got it.
To make it, very simple. But it is a hard thing because they've, like you said, they've talked to probably a SDR at some point, an AE, maybe a sales engineer, maybe a technical resource on top of that. So my biggest goal is really don't let the customer repeat anything.
Got it.
My biggest rule is just I'm always bringing value to the customer. So if I'm just checking in or if I'm trying to relearn things that they already maybe have told the AE or someone else in the organization, I'm just wasting their time. So
got it.
Just be as prepared as possible and try not to repeat anything they may have already said.
Love it. I'm sure clients love that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've established contact. Maybe how do you go about reaching out to new teams in existing account, or
can we go back to the first one?
Yeah,
I'm not done with that one.
Sure. Just go for it.
Yeah, the second thing I think is one, don't let them repeat anything, and the second thing is customers are never going to be happier, or hopefully they'll be happier. But studies show that customers are the happiest when they first buy something.
Yep.
So what I really want to do is one, continue that momentum.
Yeah.
Don't let a day go by where you're not kind of emphasizing that they made the right choice.
Got it.
Hey, you just bought some. Devin, you made a great choice. You're going to change the organization. You're going to have a major impact on the ROI. This is all about you and what you're going to do. So I like to call it like keeping the light at the end of the tunnel on. Of they bought this solution for a reason. And that reason is the light at the end of the tunnel.
Got it.
So how can I keep that going and make it so it's like, hey, this might take a couple steps, but keeping that light on so they want to keep going and keep bringing that value is
I like it.
My whole goal.
Probably stays engaging too, right?
Yeah.
Week over week, month over month. You have to keep bringing something to the table, and you're also reminding them, hey, this is the end goal. This is what we're shooting towards.
Exactly. And if I'm checking in and just like having meaningless conversations, they're not going to want to get on the phone with me again.
Right. Got it. Awesome. So when you're going about your outreach, how do you reach out to new teams at an existing account for that upsell opportunity?
Yeah, it's the whole like crux of my job.
Yeah.
So first, I think the best way you can like leverage this is people aren't going to buy more software if they're not finding value from the initial software they bought.
Makes sense.
If you don't like something, you're not just going to go buy more of it. Like I hate black licorice, and I knew it the first time I tasted it. I didn't go out and buy more black licorice.
Right.
So yeah, my whole thing there is first, leverage your existing relationships. I think it's something that everybody in sales can honestly say they probably don't do enough is asking for referrals.
Yeah.
People always say they're very willing to give referrals, but people don't quite frequently ask for referrals.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing is just, hey, those customers who really see the value, who you have a good relationship, they're going to be more likely to give you referrals. So that's the first thing.
Got it.
The second thing I do is look for the teams that are adjacent to them. Or maybe they have a similar title as the champion you're working with. Leveraging that just to be like, hey, look, this is the work we're doing with so-and-so in this part of the org. She loves it. She's having a bunch of value here. We think we could bring that same value to you.
Got it.
So that's kind of the wide approach. And then going up, like, hey, these are really valuable insights. These are really, big things we're doing with your team. we should get your VP on the line and show him or her this information.
Got it.
So those are the ones I try to do first, and then leverage what they're doing. You don't want to make it seem like it's a very cold outreach, because it's not.
Right.
Leverage who you're working with, leverage the work you're actually doing to bring value. Because they're going to ask anyways, so you might as well just be upfront about who they should ask and all that.
It probably has a better response rate too, right? If you're leaning with, hey, this is what we're already doing with the person maybe on the same side of the office as you, right? Here's some results with people you recognize. So it's much more, I guess, engaging for them to say, oh yeah, I want to learn more about that, versus just a cold outbound.
Exactly, and you're more of like a trusted advisor if you know about their business and what they're going through. It just makes it seem like you're actually going to provide value, and it's not just a generic cold outreach that you basically put into a sequence.
Very ignorable.
Yeah.
All right, so that's helpful on the relationships. Now when it comes to using data to expand into accounts, what are some of the ways that you leverage data to help expand your upsell efforts?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of different ways you could do this. Everybody has an infinite amount of data now, which is great about living in the 21st century. So I really like that, but I do it in a bunch of different ways. One is just to see the improvement. Hey, you've been doing a lot more active in the account. Or hey, you got, in Gong, I use the stats to say, hey, your team's talk time is really down. That's great to see. Or hey, I use the stats from Gong Labs articles to really boost that. Like, hey, you only have 2 of 10 reps talking above 65% during discovery calls. Those people are 41% less likely to close the deal than their peers.
Yeah.
So really leveraging just any amount of data you can to build that relationship, to give them actionable insight.
Right.
So data is one thing, but what to do with it is the real key there.
Yeah.
The other way I do it is just to call people out. So nowadays with like LinkedIn and all that, and I did this at my last job as well with some of the most active users, can look them up on LinkedIn if they got promoted recently, if they're well respected in the company. That's something you can leverage to say, hey, Jill listened to 150 calls in the past month.
Right.
She looks like she got promoted recently. Is that something you want to spread to the rest of the team?
Right.
Or hey, Johnny listens to a ton of calls. How can we bring his enthusiasm to the rest of the team and spread it a little bit more organically that way?
Got it. It sounds like you're using data to, one, help build relationships, and then 2, to continue to be a trusted advisor, right? Giving them benchmark data and helping them bridge the gap between where they are and where they could be.
Exactly. And that's where you do need their kind of input.
Right.
Because they are the experts in their field. Like obviously I'm not going to be the expert in their business, but I can provide them data and like kind of point them down the road when I really do need their help to be like, hey, I completely understand this. This goes in line with like what we were thinking, or maybe it goes against the grain and they need to reevaluate things.
Got it.
But that's where you need their input to really make that huge business impact. Because obviously they didn't hire you. They're just paying for your services.
For sure. Got it. So next question, what's the biggest objection that you hear when you're trying to upsell into an existing account?
I would say just not responding. The, like do nothing aspect of it.
The good old-fashioned silent treatment.
Yeah, or just they're too busy. Like it's more like, hey, they're too busy, check back in 2 months.
Yeah.
So I think it's really just driving the urgency of, why you, why now is the like hardest part, is to see what's going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
But that is usually the biggest objection I get. Like, hey, great, I love that you're working with that team. They love it, but it's not really a priority for me right
You get the
now.
golf clap, and then they kind of just like push you on.
Exactly. Yeah, like good effort. I appreciate it. I'll respond to your call or email, but call me back in 2 months, 3 months.
Got it.
So yeah, trying to drive that urgency is the biggest challenge of, hey, get on. People are very used to it now in SaaS especially. So driving the adoption of, hey, like we need you now. This is the reason to do it.
Right.
And this is the value that it'll bring.
Got it. All right, last question. I know you work hand in hand with our CS team, customer success. What are a couple ways that you work with them successfully that helps, drive engagement, drive adoption?
Yeah, so it really is, I would say, like usage and engagement, all that, that's a company-wide effort.
Sure.
Obviously, it falls upon CS to be the one who mainly drives it, but it really does come from support, even from marketing, letting them know about new features.
Right.
Me just continuing to drive value, covering for them when they get double booked or when they take vacations, but really being on top of them and not on top of CS, but like on top of the customers of how we can continually drive value. We luckily have Gong here, so we can see what we're doing. If I miss a call, I can listen. If they miss a call, they can listen to my calls. So that really keeps us in sync. Like I said earlier, you never want to repeat information,
Right.
which is customers hate that.
Yeah.
That's like their biggest pet peeve. So being able to just have like a continuous, seamless conversation is huge, and it makes the rapport a lot better.
Right.
It makes them more likely to get on the next call because they know you're not
more
wasting their time.
personalized. You're not repeating the same things to me because you remember what we talked about last time.
Exactly.
Right.
And you know, they're so caught up that they may even forget they talked about that.
Yeah.
With their day-to-day, and hey, maybe a month goes by, but being able to instantly pick up that conversation where it left off generates a huge value.
Awesome. All right, ready for our hot takes?
Yeah.
All right. So, I know you watch The Office a lot, you're a pro. If you were to be a character on The Office, who would you be and why?
Oh, Kelly Kapoor.
Why is that?
I'm a little dramatic. Say what's on my mind, no filter, and I like to have fun and look good.
There you go.
So yeah, I'd say Kelly.
Love it. Do you have any sales superstitions?
I used to not shave the last week of the month. That used to be something I did, like kind of like the playoff hockey beard.
Sure. Well, I know you're a big baseball fan, so I thought you might have one.
That's a big one for me. I always have a cup of tea when I go into sales calls.
Interesting.
You
Why
know,
is that?
Just soothes me. It's kind of like a nervous twitch thing now. If like ever I want to just shut up, I can start drinking tea.
I do that with water. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Oh, I used to, if I missed quota, I wouldn't shave the next month as like a protest to myself because I look horrible with a beard.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it'd be like I'm punishing myself.
Well, you must be doing well here because I haven't seen you with the beard yet. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the best compliment that a prospect or client has ever given you?
One customer told me I look like the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which I thought was really funny.
The dad?
The dad, yeah. Wait, let me put on the glasses. It makes it look a lot better, but yeah.
There you go. I guess a little bit more. I haven't seen that movie in a really long time, and I don't consider you a middle-aged dad, but
he's in Ghostbusters. Yeah. That was a really good one. Rick Moranis, that's his name. Yeah. I had to look up who Rick Moranis was when someone told me that. The other good one was I had 3 customers send me their Christmas card. I thought that was a really nice one.
Was it here? Or your last company?
It was at my last company. They sent me Christmas cards. I thought it was a really sweet gesture. And it was like their family ones. So it was like, and they sent it to the work address. It was cool.
Man, maybe you'll get some this Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, last one. You're preparing for a big presentation. What's your go-to pump-up song?
Ooh. Pump-up song. Bad Boys for Life, P. Diddy.
That's a good one. I remember that music video still.
The music video was fantastic.
Ben
Stiller was in it.
Yeah, they're hitting golf balls off the mansion, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, really catchy, like starting beat.
Yeah.
You can, rock your head to it.
We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, ain't going nowhere.
Well, there you have it, guys. How you can leverage relationships and data to help upsell your accounts with Mikey. For this segment, we have Brian Tucker and Alex Vasson, our enterprise and mid-market sales rep here at Gong, and we're going to cover the importance of building champions in a complex deal. Guys, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
How you
Thanks
feeling?
for having us, Devin.
Pretty good. Rather be selling right now.
Fun fact, Alex, myself, and Brian were the first reps here at Gong in that order. So a lot of knowledge here. Little three-way action. There it is. All right, guys, let's dive into it. Brian, I'm going to lean on you first. What are some of the specific tactics that you use to ID a champion in your deals?
Yeah, so when it comes to identifying a champion, one of the most important things that I've learned is that it's important to work with someone who's gotten stuff done before. So one of my favorite questions to ask is simply walk me through the last thing that you purchased, why you purchased it, and what that process looks like.
Interesting. If someone says, hey, I'm new here, but I bought things in the past, is that a no-go for you, or how do you operate around that?
I wouldn't say that it's a no-go. I think another important part of identifying a champion is the fact that they're shepherding you around the organization and they're willing to do so. So you can certainly be working with people that are like apt to take you to other people, but necessarily don't have the purchasing experience.
Got it.
You just need to know that that's a weakness in your champion, and that you better be working with someone else and have this coalition.
Right.
Because if you put all of your eggs in that basket with them, you're probably not going to get it across the finish line.
Got it. So identifying when it's a kind of like socializer more than someone who has power.
Exactly.
Cool. Alex, what about you? How do you ID a champion?
I'll give you a little bit different hot take here. So I think I care a lot less about whether or not they've purchased something before. I've always sold products that have been a new category like Gong or an emerging technology.
Okay.
And I think what I value more are people who buy into not so much the value that the product brings, but the vision of the company, the content that we put out, the brand. And I look for people that want to associate themselves to the brand and that vision long term beyond even the current position that they're in.
Got it. Okay.
So very rarely, sometimes a champion will tell you, hey, like I want to bring this to my next company, or I want to use it moving forward. And that to me is way more important, because now it's kind of beyond their current position, their current role. It's something that's like a long-term commitment that they're making.
Got it. And how do you guys test champions to make sure either they're a real champion, maybe to get something done? What are some of the ways that you test?
You want to take that?
Yeah. So first and foremost, it's them being able to like clearly articulate the more strategic business value of whatever we're bringing to the table. And I'm not to say, I certainly help in leading them kind of along that path. But first and foremost, like if they don't get it, they don't get it, and any discussion that they have internally, you can very well bet that it's not going to be articulated the way that you want it to be articulated. Secondly, well, there's a lot of people that will act interested and be willing to talk to you. There's not as many people that will act interested, talk to you, and then introduce you to their boss and shepherd you around the organization to different people. So I think a pretty clear tell sign of if you're working with a champion or not is frankly if they're willing to take you in front of their boss, should you both kind of be at that point in the cycle and prepared.
Got it.
If they're kind of blocking you from things and not being transparent with information, you're probably not working with a champion.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think to add to that is, are you getting information from this person that you don't get anywhere else in that company?
Got it.
Like if they come to me and I'm like, wow, that's really good to know, or if they say things like, hey, Alex, off the record, like here's what I heard about the deal, or here's what I've heard about the competitor that you're up against, that kind of solidifies that and passes the test, the smell test, if you will, of a champion.
Got it. So the test is, can I get new information I didn't have otherwise, and will you take me upstairs, basically?
Totally.
Sure.
Love it. Why is it crucial to have more than one champion for these larger, more complex deals that you guys are working on?
Yeah. Do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I think you're kind of just like, I hate to say it, but you're kind of playing people off against each other to see if the information that you're getting is consistent across the whole entire company that you're working with. Having more than one just lets you know, gives you a different perspective, lets you understand if the information that you're getting kind of matches up against both of them, and kind of validates that you're either heading the right direction or that this deal might potentially fall apart at some point.
Got it. Yeah, me and Orla would call it triangulating the truth.
Totally.
Asking the same questions to multiple people, seeing if you get, everyone's in agreement, or if you get mixed signals and someone's either lying or just accidentally not telling you the full truth.
Totally.
BT, what about you?
I think there's two big reasons. First and foremost, regardless of, like, if this is your primary point of contact and you're spending a lot of time with them, it's easy to believe that you know how this individual is perceived internally at the organization. But oftentimes, unless you're talking to their boss or other people, like, you don't really have a clear picture of what that kind of social status within the organization looks like. And at the end of the day, with these bigger, more complex deals, people buy things. The company is not buying anything. It takes like motivating people to do stuff. So if you place your bet in the wrong place, you're going to waste a lot of time. I think secondly, things change. People get promoted, people end up in new positions, people get fired and leave organizations. And when you're spending 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months working on an opportunity, if you're not diversifying and something happens, you could pretty much start throwing everything out the window and end up back at square one, on the drop of a dime.
Right. All right. So we've talked about how to build a champion, test a champion. how do you leverage champions late in a deal? Or in other words, what's kind of the return of building up these champions?
Totally.
I mean, it's everything from, hey, can you give someone a nudge to sign the agreement, right? To, hey, I can't get a hold of that person, can you help? To, hey, you know, is this objection actually real? Like, do you guys really not have any money?
Yeah, those are things that usually happen over text, I feel like.
Sure, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Totally.
absolutely. That's another thing we should have added. How do you test a champion? Is, are you texting with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like an 80 to 90% close rate if you're texting somebody at the org.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, for me, it's like these little small nudges to just help move things along where maybe you can't reach a decision maker, you can't reach the VP. Champion can help you kind of get in front of them and get things moving.
Nice.
Outside of shepherding and getting in front of the right people, since we've already talked about that, something I learned from my former boss, Chris Lawson. Shout out to you, Chris. Red zone offense, just like getting things across the finish line when you're at the 5-yard line. No matter what compelling event you have, no matter what reason to act now that you've dangled in front of them, whether it be from a commercial perspective and so on, at the end of the day, you're often dealing with like procurement. There's a lot of people that don't care, and a deal coming in on June 29th versus July 2nd doesn't mean a lot to them, but it means the world to you. Absolutely. So having that champion who's like invested in it and someone that you can just rely on to push internally, it makes all the difference in the world.
Nice. Driving urgency is key, and multi-threading helps with that.
Totally.
All right, you guys ready for some hot takes?
Let's do it.
Whatever a hot take is, let's do it.
Hot takes, less serious, more fun. Alex, I'm gonna start with you because I feel like this is a yes answer. Do you have any sales superstitions?
Actually, I do. This is a really weird one. The spot that I park my car in.
Really?
I
didn't know
back
this.
my car into the spot if I have like a really good day, sales day. And if that like mojo keeps going into multiple days, I always have to park my car backing in. And then if, like all of a sudden I have a really bad day, I start parking in a different way.
Different spot.
And then I keep doing that until the mojo breaks again.
That is definitely a new one. I did not foresee that. How'd you park today?
I backed into it.
There we go. We're getting close to the end of the quarter, so I like it. High mojo. BT, what about you?
No, man.
No?
I own my destiny. It's all up to me, and work hard. Things will happen.
I thought you were going to say the money socks. I've seen you wear some money socks on good days.
Well, colorful socks, whether they be gong socks or money socks, are really important, but I haven't yet found a correlation with success. So.
All right.
I'll give you another one. I think last couple of days of the quarter, I stopped shaving. So like you've got a beautiful beard going on, but mine usually kind of starts looking a little raggedy.
Yeah. Just you're hard at work. You don't have time to shave.
Well, yeah, and then sometimes I feel like when I shave, and this happened to me before I shave, I show up all fresh and clean looking, deal falls apart that morning right away. It's gone.
Quick correlation between shaving.
Don't even make it to the office.
I usually wait until the day after the quarter to shave.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have about 13 days before you're going to shave. All right.
I'll hold you to that.
I believe you guys are both fans of The Office. If you were going to be a character on The Office, who would you be and why? BT, I'll let you start.
Who would I be and why?
Our producer's laughing in the corner, hiding her face right now.
I mean, I guess I would be Dwight if I could be.
Sure.
Because I was Dwight once for Halloween, but more importantly, I think he's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. He's salesman of the year multiple times.
Exactly. And he's the assistant to the regional manager, and I've always wanted to get into sales management, so I guess that's my quickest path.
There you go. And you have a beet farm, obviously.
A couple, actually, yeah.
Alex, what about you?
Can we both be Dwight?
You can definitely both be Dwight.
Well, as the actual salesman of the year last year, I
Ooh.
would like to be Dwight.
All right.
Who closed the most?
2018?
Yeah, 2018.
They haven't given out the award yet for 2019.
Just a slightly competitive sales team here at Gong.
2018. We're in 2019.
We'll check the dashboard.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. What's the best compliment that a prospect or client has ever given you?
Well, there's been multiple, so
Of course.
it's hard to pick. But I think if I had to narrow it down, it's whenever they compliment you on something in the sales process that they want their team to do.
Yeah.
That also is a big buying signal, I think, in general, is if you're running a sales process where they're complimenting you or they want their team to do the same things, that's the best compliment, is like, hey, can you share that with me, or can you explain to me why you did that.
Yeah.
And it's usually not because you did something wrong. It's usually a really good thing.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think this is a fun part of selling to sales is they appreciate good salesmanship.
Right.
So at Gong, I had one of my prospects reach out to our CEO, Amit, and just compliment like how I ran the cycle, so on and so forth, and that felt pretty good.
Feels great.
I told my mom, and she was really proud of me.
We're all very proud of you, BT.
Thank
All right.
you.
The last question is: you're preparing for a big presentation, maybe a closing call. What's your go-to pump-up song? I think I know.
Right
Brian's.
above it, Lil Wayne.
I was close. What was it?
Right above it.
Right
Lil
above
Wayne.
it, Lil Wayne. I knew it was Lil Wayne, having sat by you for a while. You could hear it through the Dre beats.
Oh, man.
You say like some old Russian.
It's really putting me on the spot. Maybe Lollipop by Lil Wayne.
Lollipop, big Lil Wayne fan over here.
Wheezy F Baby.
I've honestly never heard you listen to Lil Wayne, but I'll believe you for the sake of the show. All right, guys, there you have it. Brian Tucker and Alex Vasson, mid-market enterprise sales reps, breaking down how to build up a champion to close a complex deal. All right, we're fresh out of interviews. You know what that means? It's time for the Commission Corner with Gabby. She has an awesome giveaway this week.
Hey Gong Tribe, welcome back to the Commission Corner. We're giving away 5 copies of From Impossible to Inevitable this week. And it's a book written by Aaron Ross and Jason Lemkin. And if you think you've read it before, you should think again because it's actually the revised and updated version. So definitely want to get your copy. To enter the competition, just comment your name in the comment section to the right, and we will pick 5 winners at the end of today's broadcast.
And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed getting to know the Gong sales team a little bit better, and hopefully you got some key takeaways to help you be better at your job today. Now, before we go, we have our weekly sales meme of the week. You can check it out here. Are we still good to move forward today? Hopefully you're on a texting basis with your prospect, but you're not getting a response looking like Steve Harvey here. We'll be back in 2 weeks after a quick summer break to bring you back more Gong Labs Live. Remember, that's Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific. I'll see you there.